You may be wondering what's going on. For example, why is there an ocean in the background? Is this a green screen? Is that a real palm tree? The answer is yes. Where are we, by the way? What city is this?
I think we're in Palm Beach area.
Oh, hey, this pillow says Palm Beach, and we're in Florida. So the thing is, Chris and I met on this trip for Toyota. We're driving across Florida in Toyotas, and we're freelance writers. Keep in mind, I know that you're used to be doing videos about hair loss, and that's the version of reality that you think I live in, and that's like 5% who I am. But I'm also a writer and a blogger, and so naturally companies like Toyota are going to reach out and send us to ball games and let us travel across in cars. What were we driving today?
We were in the Toyota CHR.
Which I didn't know a Toyota CHR existed until this trip, as we've been driving across Florida the last couple days. By the way, this is my friend Chris Chen. I want to direct traffic to him, but how do I do that for you?
This video is fine.
Yeah, okay. Because he's like a professional. I'm not a professional. He's a professional. This is like take 5 of making this video because he wanted to get the lighting better and and he knew what he was doing like scientifically, and like I'm totally don't. He's a professional and I'm not. Okay, so.
Make me blush, man.
I'm being real with how unprofessional I am and how professional this guy. You're a professional photographer.
This is true.
If I were to Google Chris Chen and then go to Google Images, I bet like stuff will pop up, right?
Well, if I can name drop my company.
Yeah?
C-Squared Photography.
C-Squared Photography.
Based in New York, New Jersey.
Okay.
There's a bunch of C-Squared photographies out there,
okay.
So just remember that I'm the one in New York, New Jersey.
New York, New Jersey. So obviously we're in a car all day today, driving across Florida. And so it naturally comes out that I have this channel and what it's about, because this channel is the opposite of what I normally do as a daddy blogger. So I told him it's ultimately a show that is about hair loss. And so here we are. By the way, I know you guys are keeping up with where I'm at on this. Today, what is today, Wednesday?
It's been a long day. Yes, it is.
Today's Wednesday. I shaved my head with a zero guard last Monday. So what's that, like 10 days? 10 days since I've went down to a zero guard, and 10 days since I've shaved my face. And so this is what we got. And I might be shaving the beard after today. So I know a lot of you are keeping up with that, how that's gonna look. And this is how it looks. I'm feeling pretty good about it. So I'm telling Chris about this in the car ride today. And so naturally he feels inclined to tell me his situation. What's your hair loss situation?
What hair loss situation?
Will you can you pull it back for us to kind of see? So like you have never thought about hair loss or have had to think about it?
Nope.
Okay. So let's talk about your facial hair situation.
Oh, that's totally different. That's just never gonna happen. I mean,
so,
it does happen, but like it comes like one here, and it starts curling, and it just looks retarded.
So, arm hair. I mean, my arm hair is naturally very visible, and anytime I wear a short sleeve shirt, and I'm like, I always notice it in the selfie cam of how hairy even just my arms are. And I mean, I've been shaving since I'm 16, and so like, you're well beyond the age of 16 at this point. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you don't mind sharing your age.
No, I'm twice that. Gonna be twice that in April.
Yeah, so you're like bad at math.
28.
Okay, so you're currently 27.
Yes.
And I'm currently 36, but we both have birthdays in April. Mm-hmm. And then I'll be 37 and you'll be 28. Okay. In April. All right. So with that being said, obviously I'm making this video in case you're new to my channel. And I have lots of theories about hair loss as far as ways to predict them. And it's convenient for me that Chris and I had the conversation we did today, because for me it's all about, a lot of guys come to my channel saying, can you tell me if I'm going to go bald? So I've got several ways to predict that. One of those being, if you can grow a full beard by the time you graduate high school, you're more likely to see at least some kind of recession. And that's one of the many things I talk about. Another thing I talk about, look at your photo when you're 1 year old, and that's a good projection of you at age 35. And if you've still got most of your hair by the time you're 35, there's a good chance you'll keep most of your hair by the time you're 35. So I'm right there kind of on the edge. I'll probably be okay most of my life. So it's all about hair loss theories, right? So obviously one of the fundamental ones, and really one that started my hair loss theories, is how the more European you are, which I am, I'm bad at math. I'm 21.6% Native American via Mexico. So I'm mostly European. Like that's like 78 or 79% European, right?
More than 3/4.
Yes. So being mostly European, you're more likely to easily grow facial hair, but also be more in danger of losing your hair early on in life. On the other side of the spectrum, if you're Asian, you're less likely to lose your hair and less likely to be a hairy guy. And so I want to ask you this. So you had told me though your dad is how old?
66 or 67, something
okay.
like that. Yeah.
So he's 30 years older than me. What's his hair situation like?
He's got no problems. Got a full head of hair like I do. It's obviously got gray in it, but you know that I wouldn't call that a bad side effect, I guess, of aging.
So, and same thing with beard. Can he grow a beard?
No, he cannot.
No.
He gets fuzzy, but it just doesn't look right.
It doesn't.
It doesn't look right.
So what about like other men in your family? I mean, is anybody bald in your family?
No. Off the top of my head, no. Nobody's. I do have a Greek side of my family.
You have a Greek
Side to my family.
Okay. So is any of your DNA Greek? No. Okay.
But they're related by blood,
yeah.
by aunts or.
Okay.
No, that doesn't make sense. No,
okay.
But the aunts, uncles, cousins, etc.
But as for you, you're 100% Asian.
I do have a little bit of Irish in me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But not very much.
And not enough for it to counter your situation with hair loss and any of that.
Yeah. Not
Yeah. Okay. So that's why I wanted to make this video, just because if you've been around for a while, you know I talk about this a lot. That you have to even look at your ethnic background to sort of predict that. And I argue that with me having that Native American blood, that they're descendants of Asian ancestors. And I argue often on this channel that that's part of the reason why I still have as much hair as I do. That's one of the things that I personally believe. So it's interesting, like being next to another man who has never had to even think about this. Like, because like for me, when I was a teenager, I just assumed by the time I was the age I am now, I'd just be bald. So I grew up thinking that subconsciously, so by the time I was in my 30s, I was like, oh, okay, well, anytime now, anytime now, anytime now, and this is as bad as it got. So that's weird for me. But like, you didn't even have to think about that at any point.
No, but at the same time, to say that it doesn't happen to me is not true, because actually I have noticed that I do have a little bit of receding here.
Okay.
And here, up in the corners, just like you do, which I think is a pretty normal happening.
Yeah, it totally is.
But just to bounce off of what you're saying, and to reaffirm your viewers that what he's trying to say is genetics play a very huge ordeal in a situation like this. In the same way that genetics determine whether you're going to be skinny and lanky, or a voluptuous individual. My dad grew up skinny, and he gained some love handles as he got older, but he ended up being more of a huskier guy throughout the major part of his adulthood, and I think I kind of inherited that in him, because I myself am a husky guy. I've never been as skinny as you've been, so but my point being is that genetics, don't feel bad about your hair situation, because if it's genetically related, or if it's just a fact that it's genetics and age, it's gonna happen, and you should embrace it.
Yeah, I want to add this twist ending to the video, and that is this. I remind my guys here watching my videos that even if you never have to worry about hair loss, and like you said, you might have some minor recession that no one's ever going to notice, which is your situation, but ultimately at the end of the day, for a man who never has to worry about hair loss, does that mean that you have a better experience in life than the rest of us? So the life is not worry-free. It's not anxiety-free. You never have any issues with confidence despite that, or anything like that. Like, so you're saying your life isn't perfect even though you don't have to lose your hair?
Yeah, my life is far from perfect. Seriously. I'll admit that as I've grown older, I found myself being complimented about my hair from older women, because apparently there's a lot of women out there who appreciate a full thick head of hair, especially with older men.
Because it's rare.
Okay.
in many of our situation, for our perspective, it is more rare.
But to be honest, it's really it has not made a huge impact on my life. You know, I couldn't give any less.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's not a problem Chris has to worry about or think about.
So I guess I'm at a predisposition.
But ultimately, it's just one less problem to worry about in life.
Yeah.
And we all have, you know, things going on, you know.
Emotional freedom, man. It's like,
yeah.
You know, just cut your ties from that feeling of insecurity. Who cares,
it's funny because I always say, unplug from the system is what I say. Unplug from the system.
Like in the Matrix.
Yes. Yes. Very true. So I want to thank Chris for being on my videos, because please know, when you have the personality and media presence that I have, you're surrounded normally by people who want nothing to do with that sort of identity. So when I was talking to Chris, I was like, would you mind being in a video with me? He's like, sure, I'll do it. I was like, what? You will? You don't? Yeah, because usually I'm just surrounded by people who are used to me talking all the time and doing all this stuff. So I know this is just a conversation that we were having already, and I wanted to continue it. And you know, this whole concept, which, one more twist ending. I have viewers who live in Asia who are not American. You're obviously American, but it's a whole different concept for them, because there's this whole stigma that if you're part of the population that does lose your hair, then it's like a big deal. But I think here in America, you could get away with just shaving your head and like that's the end of it, right? I mean,
yeah, it's definitely a huge difference in culture compared to Asian cultures and Western American cultures.
Yeah.
Just case in point, I know in Japan, Caucasian men, European men, you know, with a lot of body hair, like over here, is actually considered very elevating characteristic. And so basically, because we don't come with as much body hair as, say, someone from Europe, you know, they really look up to that. I think you told me an example that, like, you...
Oh yeah, I mean, when I was in Thailand and Korea, people who didn't know me would approach me, like if I were somewhere swimming, and they would come up to me. Other men who were straight would come up to me and say, "You're very handsome." And then a lot of times, it was normal for them to reach out and rub my arm hair.
Because like, it's uncommon. It's just, you know, it's unheard of for an Asian to have a lot of body hair.
Yeah, I've never heard
And
of it.
it's all genetics.
Yeah. So, cool. Thank you again for being part of this video.
Yeah,
I am
no
so
problem,
happy that we got to, so far that we got to buddy up, and he had to spend all day with me today and all day with me today in a car. What's funny though, we may never see each other again. So there's a depressing ending to the video.
That won't happen.
But he may magically appear in a new video. You never know what might happen in my videos. You never know. Thank you for being here. I love you, man.